In this video we look for Kaylee's Nemesis bird, we see the most colourful duck in the UK, and is our lucky streak over? After a birthday meal for a family member, we headed, through plenty of roadworks, to Nottinghamshire. Hey folks, we are extremely tired. It's like 1 in the morning. We set off a bit late because we had a family meal, and yes, I'm afraid we're in a travel lodge again. Our mechanic's not well, so hopefully he'll be able to fix the van soon. But until then, we're in Nottinghamshire, looking for some birds tomorrow, including a bit of a nemesis bird for Kaylee, the great grey shrike.
Yeah.
And also possibly a ferruginous duck. And some other cool birds too. So we'll see in the morning. Hopefully we'll be a little bit more bright and breezy. We left the travel lodge and headed about 20 minutes to Budby Forest. Morning. We're at Budby South Forest in Nottinghamshire, looking for a nemesis bird, especially for Kaylee, and it used to be mine, but kind of still is in a way, because I've only ever seen one at a ridiculously long distance. So we're after a great grey shrike. Might be in for a bit of a walk, but let's see if we can find it. After discovering this is not only a good bird watching spot, but a place that's regularly used by the naturist community, we headed into the forest undeterred. We soon bumped into a fully dressed birder who was also headed to where the great grey shrike had been seen, and who lined us up for quite a long walk. Apparently the bird had been spotted right at the other side of the reserve, so we headed on our way. This was a pretty amazing area with lots of birdsong around us and a few birds in sight, like this carrion crow. Eventually we arrived at where the shrike had been seen that morning, expecting to see some other birders, but no one was there. We walked a little further up the path and we found the birders, including the gentleman we'd seen previously. They'd found the shrike. It had been reasonably mobile, but at this point was sitting in the top of a tree, occasionally flying down, presumably to pick up food, and then flying back. One of the other birders said he'd been there 6 times to see it, and this is the best it had shown. This species does not breed in Britain, but comes in small numbers in the autumn and winter. Undoubtedly it was the best I'd seen it. I had only seen one once before, and it was a speck in the distance. This was previously a nemesis bird for me, after trying to find one dozens of times and failing, and it had become one for Kaylee as well. But now we'd both got it. Success. We found it. With the help of some other birders. That was really exciting. That was just amazing. I just can't explain how cool that was. That is a bird that I've looked for ages and seen a really brief long distance.
Which became a real sore spot.
Yeah.
In the house.
Oh yeah, because I went without Kaylee and saw it. But now we've both seen it, and it's reasonably close as far as great grey shrike are concerned. Got some shaky footage, but
it doesn't matter, we've seen it.
It's super happy. Apparently there's woodlark here as well, and maybe even lots of spotted
woodpecker. I've actually seen the woodlark, Nigel hasn't.
Yeah, so we can't count it yet. Let's see if we can find it. After the excitement, we headed back into the reserve towards the car to see what else we could find. Passing some woodland where there was some commoner species like this robin, and a little bit further a singing dunnock. Someone had mentioned woodlark on the reserve. I did not know they were here, and had only ever seen them before in Suffolk, so this would be a great bird to add to our year list. Wandering down the path, we did hear a few woodlark, but didn't see any. We got lovely views of this stone chap. Then suddenly I saw a silhouette at the top of a tree. This bird was singing at the top of its voice and was our woodlark. Excellent. This species is a resident in the UK, but is far from common, and has a reasonably restricted range. By now we were reasonably close to the car again, finally, and we headed out to our next destination. Hello folks, you can see Kaylee behind me. We're at Idle Washlands. There's been a ferruginous duck reported here on and off. We're going to see if it's still here and see what else is here too. Idle Washlands looked like a huge area of flooded fields, but it was full of birds. So we started our quest for the ferruginous duck. There was plenty of other waterfowl here, like this gadwall. There was a number of swans, some of them bickering. And as we walked further down the path, we got some great views of great crested grebes. Despite this abundance of birds, finding the ferruginous duck in this large area seemed like not only a huge task, but almost impossible. Luckily, we bumped into a fellow birder who was able to point it out for us, but it was pretty hidden. It was sat roosting with a few other ducks, sat on a bank, partially hidden by vegetation. You can pick it out in this video. It's the bird in the middle on the bank with the white dot on its rear end. It remained roosting for the duration that we were there, but a great bird to add to our year list, and an unusual one too. This species has a somewhat fragmented breeding range throughout Eastern and Central Europe. A small amount of these birds visit the UK in winter, but in decreasing numbers. Hey folks, how you doing? We got the ferruginous duck. A little disappointing with the views. It was a long way away, like roosting behind some branches with its head under its wing. Yeah, well, we got it. We did see it and we've got it. So we're going to do quite a long journey now and hope to get to Rosedale Abbey on the Yorkshire Moors before it goes dark, because there's some rough-legged buzzards there, more than one as well, which is pretty unusual. So stick with us for that. We wandered back towards the car through some puddles, saying goodbye to our friends the great crested grebes, and headed to our next destination, 2.25 hours away. This long journey was in the hope that we'd get a sighting of one of a couple of rough-legged buzzards, but the weather had other ideas.
Why are we here?
Yeah, to try and see a rough-legged buzzard, but I don't think we're seeing very much looking at this.
I don't think you're seeing nothing.
Driving further, the fog got worse. Hey folks, after a 2.25 hour drive, we've got here. It's a bit windy, but there's fog. You can't see a damn thing. It's absolutely terrible. I feel pretty disappointed in that one, really, to be honest. I was hoping to get the rough-legged buzzard and maybe a couple of other birds for you. So we're going to try and move on and maybe get something else before the end of the day. Stick with us. The only bird I was able to just about pick out amongst the fog was this red grouse. So we decided to move on and go to the beach. Hey folks, we're on the beach.
Out of the fog.
Out of the fog, yeah. We're at Redcar, trying to find some snow buntings for our year list before it goes dark. There were some here earlier today. There's quite a few of them apparently. Not found them yet, but stick with us, see if we can find them. It was late afternoon and the light was starting to fade, so we made our way along the beach to where the snow buntings had previously been seen that day. Along the way, spotting a few common gull on the beach, and a bit further up, a group of pretty raucous carrion crows. We searched and searched along the beach and in the dunes, but unfortunately there was no sight of the snow buntings. Possibly they'd gone to roost as it was slowly starting to get dark. So we headed slowly towards the car, looking on the tide line at the many gulls that were sat preening there. There were some other shapes too. These turned out to be sanderling. I thought I'll try and get some footage of these, but they were just running rings around me. These comical little birds were running up and down the beach, picking up morsels of food on the way. Hey folks, unfortunately we couldn't find the snow buntings. No. We think they might have moved on. So although we had an excellent morning, we've had a bit of a rubbish afternoon, unfortunately. So we're going to now head all the way back home, and then tomorrow we're going to go off to Anglesey. to see if we can find some specific species. Definitely chuff, but there might be some other surprises as well, hopefully.
Let's see what we see.
Let's see what we find. See you in the morning. It was a horrendous drive home in bad weather, but the following morning the weather had improved somewhat, and we headed down the Welsh coast to Anglesey. Our first stop was Holyhead and RSPB South Stack Cliffs. The bird we were searching for this time was the chough. After wandering to the cliff's edge and not seeing much, we headed up to the visitors centre and Ellen's Tower, spotting this bird on the way, although I'm not sure if we can count this one on the air list. Looking out towards the lighthouse from near Ellen's Tower, we did spot plenty of birds on the edges of the cliffs. Looking closer, these were lines of guillemot clinging to the edge of the cliffs. Apparently, according to one of the staff here, the guillemots are always the first species back to their breeding ledges. As we wandered back towards the car, we saw a couple of dark shapes fly in off the hillside onto the roof. These were the choughs we were looking for. This is a species of crow with red legs and a red curved beak. These birds do breed in the UK, but are restricted to coastal areas and only in the westernmost parts of the British Isles. Hey folks, we've been to Anglesey and we found our chough. It was sitting on the roof of a building after flying in from some rocks on a hillside, so that was excellent.
Saw a couple of them.
Yeah, we did see a couple of them, yeah.
And then Nigel's just been looking for a firecrest and it's not worked out very well.
Yeah. We've just stopped to have a look for a firecrest in a place that we seen yesterday. We heard it, but the little blighted didn't show. So Kaylee's still got that one on me. She's seen a firecrest and I haven't. I'll get one
You've
day.
got the golden oriole.
Yeah, I got a golden oriole, I suppose, and a bonaparte skull. Anyway, we're heading to, I think it's a nature reserve that I can't pronounce. I'll put it on the screen in a minute, to see if there's any water pipit there, because some were reported yesterday, so let's hope we don't blank on that. We moved on to our next stop.
Hi.
Hey, it's a bit breezy. I hope you can hear me. We're at the nature reserve now. There's a lot of ducks here, a few egrets. I'm not sure if we'll find the water pipit because it's not been seen today or reported at all, but let's see what we'll give it a go, see what we can find. There looks to be plenty of birds here though. We began our walk around the reserve, spotting many wildfowl, including this mute swan that was right next to the path, and a little bit further out there was lots of roosting ducks like these widgeon and these shoveler. Also, you can see in the foreground a little egret. This wasn't the only egret here. We also saw two cattle egret that were roosting on the bank with another little egret. It was quite a long walk to where the water pipit had been sighted, and along the way we saw more ducks like this gadwall and also this preening pintail that was amongst a group of widgeon on the bank. We continued for some time on the path, seeing overhead a large flock of lapwing that looked like they may have been spooked by a predator. The lapwing weren't just restricted to the skies, there was a few feeding on the banks of the water, like this wonderful looking individual. Other small birds around included this group of starlings that were here in large numbers, and also this pied wagtail feeding at where the water pipit should have been feeding. There was no sign, unfortunately, of the water pipit, so we carried on around the path, hoping it may have moved on and hoping we may catch up with it. As we walked around the path further, things started to get muddy.
You're not in the mud.
I'm in mud.
You know them lovely boots we bought you to walk in? Somebody who doesn't want to wear them.
Finally, caked in mud, we managed to find a bit of path that was stone and puddles. This gave Kaylee an opportunity to try and clean her boots, and me an opportunity to watch this lovely stone chap that was on a fence post by the track. This is an excellent reserve with marsh and reed beds, great for ducks and waders. We heard some bitterns while we were here and also some chatty's warbler, but unfortunately no footage, although we will be back. Hi folks, we went for the water pipit and again unfortunately dipped on that.
Yeah.
But this reserve is excellent, really nice. We've been here once before, but we had a really long walk around it this time through lots of mud. Our feet are caked in mud, but it was fun.
We heard a lot of bitterns though.
We did hear a lot of bitterns actually. Chetty's warbler and whatnot. Unfortunately I didn't get any of them on film, which is a pest. But nevertheless, before I end the video, here's a little video from the other day where me, Kaylee and Emily went to look for a very special little duck. We were in Llangollen in North Wales whilst Kaylee's car was being serviced, so we wandered down the river in search of a little duck that sometimes comes on the river here in winter. This isn't the ducks we were looking for, but it was great to see this lovely pair of goosander right near the bank feeding. And as we got a little further up to where I'd hope we see the species of duck I was after, we saw the normal mollards waiting for scraps from passers-by. But then the duck I was looking for came into view. It's the mandarin duck. This species is native to the far east of Asia, but exists in the UK as an escaped population from private collections. I was aware of this species being present in Llangollen as I used to live here, and was always happy to see this beautifully plumaged duck in the local river. This video's been a mix really. We've hit great grey shrike, which was just amazing. So that was a bit of a nemesis bird for Kaylee. But we hit chuff and we hit, what else did we get? Woodlock and ferruginous duck, although it was at a distance.
It wasn't too bad.
And then, but we dipped on a few as well. Sometimes videos like this, I wonder, I'm almost reluctant to put them out, but then I think I should, because it gives the truth about birding. Anyway, you don't always get them, and invariably you don't get them. So we've been really lucky this year so far, so this is the first time we've kind of not hit more than we have.
Yeah, but getting the shrike.
Getting the shrike was excellent. Thank you very much for watching. Please like,
please subscribe,
and please press the notification bell.
Bye.
See you on the next adventure.